What does Montour have us watch? What does he want us to watch? Okay. Okay, so it's actually the game theorist. Okay.
Just Monica. Just Monica. Just Monica. Just Monica. Just Monica. Just Monica. Just Monica.
Bro, what is this?
Just Monica. So last time we began covering the creepy hidden mystery of...
You should not have deleted me, Mappa. I am still here, and I still want my name.
That is true. We deleted her and she still survived. What is this? It's just YouTube stuff. It's his fucking voice. Oh fuck. Wrong vid. This is part 2. You can still watch it, right? It seems like we don't need part 1.
Welcome to Game Theory, and my apologies for any technical difficulties.
Let's just watch part 2. I'll watch part 1 in my own time. I think it'll be fine.
So in part 1 of this theory, we start to unearth a horror game hidden underneath the cute facade that is Doki Doki Literature Club. We found a letter hidden in plain sight.
Oh yeah, I remember this letter.
Experiments.
How did he get this? Wait, how did he get all this? No, there's no way this dude got all the rest of this text. There's no way. Or maybe he upped the brightness of it. I don't know.
Topics that appear in Yuri's book, The Portrait of Markov, a book that just so happens to have a mysterious guy on the cover. This all led me to concoct a theory that the 4 girls from the club are actually characters from another game. A horror game, in fact, being produced by Team Salvato, and that this is the reason that Monica turned sentient in Doki Doki. Her AI isn't meant to be contained in a mere visual novel game. But today is where things really start to go off the rails as we dive
They're part of a different game.
Markov mystery and cover the game within this game that's itself hiding a 3rd game. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you thought Monica was bad, well then, you should start getting really scared of Yuri.
I knew Yuri was the one we should watch out for.
If you finish the game, the character files in the game's directory play a huge role in the plot. Monica manipulates and deletes them one by one in her quest to make you love her. And ultimately, you have to delete Monica's file in order to reach the game's true ending. But there's more
So I got the true ending. See, Montour wanted me to get the bad ending. I got the true ending without even looking up YouTube or anything. This doesn't make any sense. What are you saying? Watch part 1. Please? This doesn't make any sense otherwise. But it's making sense to me right now. I'm guessing this is part 1. It makes sense to me.
Oh, no way, a text message. Who's it from? Aw, Jacksepticeye, how sweet.
The thing is, I do want to watch it. It's like, I don't want to use all of our time on this. This is like, what, 12 minutes? The other one's 50 minutes. That's like a 30-minute thing. I don't know if you guys want to do that. I thought you guys wanted to watch One Direct Priority. Only watch part 1? Okay.
And there's
I'll
a
do
picture?
that.
Wait, that's not how I wrote this gag. Another one. What's going on here?
I feel like I've kind of watched this.
Wait. What the heck? Steph! Steph, are you pranking me?
You promised you'd spend time with me, Matt.
Uh-oh.
And only me. Only me. Only me. Only
That's not how Monica even sounds like, though.
Only me. Only me. Only me. Now let's make a theory together.
Bruh.
Welcome to Game Theory, where it's our goal to systematically prove that everything in your life is secretly terrifying. Over the years, we've made you fear public Wi-Fi, minimum wage jobs, and even the house next door. But today, we're gonna talk about a game that'll make you stop trusting the very computer you're using to watch this video. Unless you're part of the 75% of users who watch this show on their tablet, phone, console,
Haven't
or
looked
TV.
around.
In which case, just pretend you're scared too. Ooh, okay? Okay. Looking at its Steam store page, Doki Doki Literature Club seems harmless enough. A cutesy, pastel-tinged dating sim starring 4 adorable waifus, as the kids say, all of whom you can try your hand at wooing for the low, low price of free. But look
It
a
is
little
free.
closer and it quickly becomes clear that
I
this
even
game
get it on
isn't the
Steam. I
fun,
got it online.
light-hearted visual novel that it makes itself out to be. For starters, the top tag on the Steam store page is psychological horror.
It
which
is.
makes it seem misclassified. And at the bottom of the game's description, which is a cute little greeting note from the Literature Club's president, Monica, you'll find a very stern warning in bold letters. This game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed.
They said
And
that
in
like
case
3
you missed
times.
that one, the game greets you with that message yet again as you boot it up. One final reminder that this isn't meant for the faint of heart. It seems like a joke, right? But let me assure you, it is no joke.
Bro, the
For
editing
that
in
spirit,
these
this
kind
is
of
your
videos.
last chance to stop watching this video before I spoil the heck out of it. It is without exaggeration one of the best written, most surprising game stories of this year, even if it takes about 2 hours of
My
barely
friend told me
seeing
that was
visual
there was a
novel
game that he wants me to play on stream. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. The editing is crazy. Oh, what's it called? It's another visual novel. Hold on, let me throw up my Discord now. Give me a second. Doki Doki, Songs of Seiya. Have any of you guys heard of it? What's wrong with my mouse? Is Monica controlling my mouse? Why is my mouse so laggy? Songs of Seiya. Impossible? Impossible to play this on stream, or like, what are you saying? They said this is a really good visual novel, better than Doki Doki. As you will see, this game has so many layers. Doki Doki or Songs of Seiya.
action before you get to the really good stuff.
Nothing can
Play
beat
it yourself.
it.
You're not
Oh,
going to
no,
regret
you're
it,
talking about
or
Doki
just
Doki.
watch our highlight playthroughs on GT Live. You'll
Okay.
get the point. Okay, so if you're still here after that and you haven't played the game or watched our GT Live playthrough, which I'm sure is still a lot of you, let me give you a quick rundown. During your first playthrough,
Bruh, I
Doki
know.
Doki Literature Club seems like a normal visual novel
Yup.
with a pretty neat mechanic of composing poems in order to woo the various girls in the club.
Yup.
Your childhood friend Sayori, quiet bookish Yuri, and young aggressive Natsuki. But at the end of your first run, strange things begin happening. It all starts when Sayori succumbs to her depression and
Can they show that on YouTube? Can I even show that on Twitch?
soon after, she's deleted from the story entirely, and you're kicked back to the title screen. But something is clearly not right this time. As you replay the game, the world begins breaking apart as it tries to move forward without Sayori in it. Eventually, you discover that the club's president, Monica, has become
I remember that part.
self-aware within the game and is manipulating the game's code, even files on your very computer in a desperate attempt to make you,
I didn't see that part.
the player, love her. When nothing else works, she deletes everything else in the game, leaving just Monica.
Just Monica. You were saying that throughout the whole stream,
in the club
Montour.
room with
Just
nothing
Monica.
to do but talk forever. At least until you do what she did to the other characters and delete her character file in order to save everyone else and reach the true ending.
Yep.
Doki Doki Literature Club
We got that
intentionally
ending.
leaves a lot
Check Justice for group chat. Yeah, give me a second.
dangling for gamers to figure out on their own. But out of all of it, one question has been bugging me nonstop since I finished playing it. What is the story
You're not
behind
sick.
Monica? The game presents her
That's low-key sick. I don't even know. Add some text. Actually, I don't even know if you should add some text. Maybe add some text at the very back, like the way. I don't even know if I can show this to my chat. Try send it to me if you can. I want to show my chat the thumbnail that we're gonna make. Yeah, my friend just sent me a thumbnail of a video we're about to drop soon. Blue or pink? I think pink is fine. And then make the text maybe like yellow in the background, but like in the background of all the other photos, that makes sense. So you can't actually see the full text like the way Max Man does it.
as
Send it to me when
simply
you're
being
done.
a
But yeah, that's
character
really
in a
good.
visual novel who suddenly becomes self-aware, but all of that doesn't quite add up. The way DDLC is designed, the way that Monica manipulates it, and the things that she says in her extended conversation.
Yeah, I forgot that Monica Nazi went out of her way to actually warn us about her, and then she just said I changed my mind. Completely erased her. Oh, bro, this game
all
is
hint
deep.
that there's something much more sinister
Okay.
going on with her, and that is the theory
Okay,
for
no
today.
problem, Alex.
That's right, dear theorists. The hidden truth of Doki Doki Literature Club is that Monica is from a different game. Monica is Flowey, who also has
Bruh, are you serious? Montour? Unless this makes sense, this dude is chatting a bag of was. I've played Undertale. No, it's a joke. Okay.
Porky from Earthbound, who's
Oh,
really
okay.
the purple guy from that.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say.
the rest of the theorist team just pulled me aside for a quick intervention. apparently I'm banned from making any links between this game and Undertale.
Yeah.
Or any game and Undertale. Really, I'm not allowed to touch Undertale anymore. But in all seriousness,
Thank
Monica
God.
is from a different game. And not just Monica either. Doki Doki has a lot more to it than first meets the eye, even once you make it through the main story. Because the ending isn't even the ending. When you restart the game after deleting Monica, Sayori assumes the role of club president now, and things are pretty normal until the end of the first day, when you get perhaps the biggest twist of them all. Sayori now is self-aware, expressing the exact same desire to hoard you to herself that Monica did. So there's gotta be something that at least Monica and Sayori have in common, and possibly the other girls as well, that's making all of this possible. See, there's something about the way Doki Doki Literature Club is designed that doesn't quite add up. Throughout your second playthrough, Monica reveals that she's been manipulating events behind the scenes the whole time, that she's been messing with Yuri, Natsuki, and Sayori's character files by amplifying their worst traits so that you'll like them less and you'll like her more. That's why Yuri goes from being a little bit clingy to being self-harming and obsessive, why Natsuki goes from being flirty mean to just being a plain old jerk, and why Sayori goes from being mildly depressed to suicidal in the span of a few days. These are all consequences of Monica haphazardly adjusting their character parameters behind the scenes, but
bro, what is this part here? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? We didn't get to this scene, Montour. We don't have to go back. Not until you apologize for calling me gross. Oh. Ooh. Oh.
hold on a second. That might seem to make...
Wake me up before you go hang. Montour. I don't like Sayori, but I don't like this Sayori dissing you're doing. You're too much of a Monica stan.
Think about it, that's not really how visual novels work at all.
Yep.
Visual novel characters aren't AI based. Their behavior is determined entirely by what's written in the game's script. The game's dialogue script, not programming script. I can see how that gets confusing. There's simply no need for a character in a dating sim to have complicated behaviors like this. But what if they were created for a more complex game? What if the characters in Doki Doki Literature Club were intended to be used in a different game altogether? One where they would need to have more complex, believable responses to a greater range of player choice? What if their assets were simply repurposed from that game in order to make this dating sim? It's not just speculation. The clues are there, hidden in plain sight in Doki Doki's central mechanic, the poems. Over the course...
Imagine if he made this whole video and the creators of Doki Doki went on Twitter and said, yeah, this dude capping. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, it is just a dating sim. Just ruin his whole... Maybe they did. Ruin all of his accreditation.
The first act, you read poems from all the other club members, which seems pretty innocent.
Right, Zach's like... Because sometimes I have to look at him and just say, bro, do you ever think the creators is looking at him like, why is this dude looking into it, bro?
But it's nothing overt. In the game's
Wait,
second act,
sorry, I didn't listen.
That Natsuki is being abused by her father, but it's nothing overt.
Yeah.
In the game's second act, you're given 3 randomly selected special poems out of a possible 11 that makes these hints much more overt. But there's one of these poems in particular.
Sorry, I gotta read this. I'm wondering the warehouse at night. All of this. No, we had that one. Stare at the dot to reveal a special message. Today I cut my skin for the first time. It was exhilarating. I think I understand how something feels now. I'm supposed to be the responsible one, though, so I don't think I'll be doing it again unless I decide to kill myself. I just let... Is that Natsuki talking? Bruh.
11 that makes these hints much more overt. But there's one of these poems in particular that really stands out. A huge block of redacted text with only a few letters left visible, spelling out the question... That would be unsettling enough on its own, but if there's one thing Scott Cawthon has trained me to do, it's to run dark images through Photoshop and play around with sliders. If you crank up the exposure on that image all the way to max capacity, suddenly it becomes possible to read the full text and... Is
he gonna read it? Or...
Man, it is...
Okay, I'm gonna read it myself. Irregular heartbeat palpitation. What? Alicia's symptoms are nowhere near this simple. Oh, is this them experimenting on the characters before they went into Doki Doki? I can hear Alicia screaming through the walls now. I listen helplessly. Raynor said that he would be with her shortly. Is he with her in the room now?
Possible to read the full text, and man, it is weird. Irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, arrhythmia. I search and search. Eyes scan
Okay, she did
everything I
read
can
it.
find on their symptoms. What is this? Shortness of breath?
Bro, what is this
Is
game, bro?
this-
It's supposed to
No,
be,
this-
bro. This game is a dating simulator. Why is it some 500 IQ?
This is all
Um,
Alyssa's symptoms are nowhere near this simple. I've seen it twice now. The screams of pain, sickeningly pale skin, vomiting blood. There is no other explanation.
Who else
other
could
than
do
that
this? What
Renier's
doctor could do
information was a
this?
complete and utter
Dr. Eggman from Sonic Heroes. The characters from Sonic Heroes are in Doki Doki. It all makes sense now.
lie. This can't all be coincidence.
Reiner from Attack on Titan. Oh, there is way
I
more,
don't know
bruh.
how much of this Renier is
That's right,
but I do know
Rainier.
this. There is something horribly wrong with this family. And I accept
Monica
it
is Dr.
because
Eggman. Yeah, she is.
I can hear Alyssa's screams.
Do you not
through
see
the
the
wall.
resemblance?
I listen helplessly. Renier said he would be with her shortly. Is he in her room now? Why is she screaming even louder than before? Chilling, right? This creepy letter is literally hidden right in front of your face while you play this game. And what's it all mean? Well, those opening lines make it sound like someone who's trying to identify an illness. Irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, arrhythmia are all possible problems of the heart, so it's not so much this person is making a diagnosis, but rather it's someone trying to read the symptoms he's seeing and figure out what the diagnosis
cure is, yeah.
It's a clinical assessment, which means that the speaker is a doctor of some kind. And notice the
Dr.
words it
Eggman.
uses, their symptoms. It's an illness affecting multiple.
We're streaming right now. Who do we know who's a doctor in streams? Dr. Disrespect. The game characters are disrespectful. Dr. Disrespect made Doki Doki.
People, a family, as we see later in the letter. A family that apparently you can join, almost like a cult. It's also worth
Ugh.
noting that this doctor who's speaking has some degree
Dr.
of
Slam the fart.
attachment to this girl, Alyssa, almost like she's a research subject of some kind, possibly part of a human experiment. And when you put all this together, a cult performing experiments on young girls, it starts sounding familiar. We hear about human experiments exactly 2 times in Doki Doki Literature Club. Both times when Yuri describes the plot of The Portrait of Markov, the book that she wants to read with her. A book which has a, quote, ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. In the first act, Yuri makes it sound relatively innocent enough. Quote,
Okay.
basically it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. End quote. In the second act, Yuri's personality gets a bit more unhinged, and she gives us a creepier description of what's actually going on these pages.
How did they edit the eye twitch? I'm an editor. I don't. Well, maybe you can tell us, Zach. But I don't know how people be animating stuff like this. Like, did you see the eye twitch? It's very
And she
subtle,
gives
but
us
how would they do that?
Creep.
Like, would they just drag the rotoscope? No. What's it called? The liquefy? No, that's Photoshop. I don't know how they do
Clear
that.
description of what's actually going on these pages. Quote again. Basically, it's about this religious camp that's turned into a human experiment prison. All the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the
Pinpointing easy? I don't know what that means. We would never. Oh, pinpoint. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We would never know the editor killed himself this very same year of the. Oh yeah, damn! I remember that video. I felt bad for MatPat. Dang. That's
facility gets even worse,
crazy.
and they start selectively breeding people.
Now that's
cutting off
crazy,
their
Montour.
limbs and
I
affixing
forgot
them
about that.
to- And then she cuts off. That's a lot of information for a fake book, especially when you compare it to what we learn about Natsuki's favorite manga. And that's because what Yuri tells us about the Portrait of Markov isn't just a short snippet of text meant to create the illusion of a bigger story. It is the bigger story here. It's the plot of the horror game that Team Salvato is working on. The game that all 4 of these characters originate from. And if you think I'm done, oh no,
Bruh.
we have just scratched the surface. We can dig deeper to uncover more about this horror game, including its
Nope.
title and release date, as well as how these 4 girls fit into the overall story.
Man, oh
because
man.
Team Salvato left a whole ARG's worth of content hidden in Doki Doki's game files. If you thought that the literature club was interesting before, simply because it had these cool meta moments and jump scares, well, get ready. There's a whole other game here, just resting underneath the surface, waiting to be puzzled together. That'll start to make you really question everything you thought you knew about Sayori, Natsuki, Monica, and especially Yuri. But it's all way too much to cover in this one video, so ring the bell to subscribe, help us get closer to—
Hey man, we not about to watch that stream. We not watching that video. I got creeped out watching that video.